Morning, Rick Stein here, RLS Properties. We're going to talk about how I'm financing another deal. I'm buying a HUD property at 34 Arlington, and on my newsletter you will see the before pictures because I'm closing on it tomorrow. It needs a minor rehab, not a big rehab. But let's talk about the financing, because by itself the property, it's okay. It's not a home run, but the financing that I created on it is very attractive. People say to me, Rick, I'm looking for great deals. Well, how would you know when you find it? They don't pop their heads up and say, hey, look at me, I'm a great deal. You don't look for great deals, you create great deals. By the financing on this, I created a very good deal. So the property is 34 Arlington Avenue, and the purchase price is $42,000. I'm closing tomorrow. I have a private loan on this for the gentleman who has lent me money before. I'm borrowing $45,000, which will cover the purchase price and closing costs, at 6%. So people say, how do you do 6%? Private money is 10%. Well, you ask for less. It doesn't have to be 10%. I have loans at 2, 3, 5, 6%. This is my highest one, 6%. How I'm going to pay him, if you took it on a 30-year amortization, the payments would be, $300 a month, something like that. I'm paying him $500 a month, which includes principal and interest, which means that it will be fully amortized in 10 years. So this gentleman, well, how does it benefit this gentleman? Well, he's 62 years old, and he wants to retire in a few years. So $500 a month is a nice little check every month, isn't it? But he would like that strung out over 10 years. This is a 10-year note. But what if I sell the property? Well, then normally, if this was a bank note, there would be a due on sale clause. I'd have to pay off the note. He doesn't want me to pay off the note, and I don't want to pay off the note. So I eliminated the due on sale clause from the mortgage note. There is no due on sale clause, which means I could do several things. First of all, I have a right of first refusal. What does that mean? That means that at some point between now and 10 years, he decides he needs cash and he wants to sell the note. He can't force me to pay him off early unless I'm not paying the note. But he can shop the note around. And whatever price, let's say at that point I owe $30,000 on it, and the best he could do is $25,000. He has to come to me and say, Rick, I got an offer of $25,000, here it is in writing, do you want to pay me $25,000? I then have the option. It's a right of first refusal. I can pay him the $25,000, essentially buy the property then for $5,000 less and own it free and clear, or no, I'm not going to. He sells the note and I'm paying this other person the $500 a month. I also have an SOS clause. SOS stands for Substitution of Security Clause, which means I can substitute the collateral for the note. I can take the note from the property I'm closing on tomorrow and move it. Take it off that property, move it to property B, another property I own. As long as there's enough equity in the property to cover the balance of the loan when I substitute it, meaning let's say there's $30,000 left. In the substitute property, there has to be at least $30,000 in equity. And there has to be enough net income coming from that second property to pay the $500 a month. I'm not going to be in a negative position. He's agreed to that. I also have what's called it's called an exchange of note clause. I call it a slice and dice. So let's just say, well, probably wouldn't happen on a $30,000 note, but let's say that it's $40,000. Let's say on another property I have a $100,000 note, and I don't have $100,000 in the equity in another property, but I do have $50,000 in two other properties, or $25,000. I can break up the note into smaller pieces, and I can distribute it over multiple properties as long as each property has enough equity to support that note, that portion of the note, and enough income to pay that portion of the $500. I could do those things. That gives me a lot of it. How does it affect him? It doesn't, because he's still getting $500 a month. He doesn't care where it's collateralized. How does it benefit me? What if I move that note to another property? Now the first property is owned free and clear because I moved the note. I can refinance it, put the cash in my pocket. I can refinance it and use the money to buy other properties. I can also, now since there's no due on sale clause, I can sell the property to somebody else. I can offer seller financing at, let's say, 8%. Well, why would someone pay 8%? Because maybe they don't have great credit. They're reestablishing their credit. They want to rent it for a year or two. Well, okay. Well, they want to buy it rather. Well, then I can, since I still have the note and there's no due on sale clause, I can sell it to them. I still have to pay him $500 a month, but someone's paying me at 8%. I can structure it any way I want. They're paying me $700 a month, we'll say, and keep the $200 difference. So by using these clauses, it gives me a lot of flexibility. They're very, very powerful. So I guess that's it for today. You can always reach me at Rick at rlshomesolutions.com, or my cell is 609-213-7250. Have a great day.